The U.S. is defending its joint airstrikes against Houthi rebels in Yemen. The Iranian-backed group supports Hamas in its war with Israel. Both President Biden and NATO officials said the U.S.-led strikes were aimed at protecting commercial shipping vessels traveling through the Red Sea. The Pentagon says more than 60 targets were hit at 16 different locations. Iran, Hezbollah, and Hamas have all condemned the strikes.
I think it's important to remember how we got here. 27 attacks against international commercial shipping and mariners since November 19th, multiple warnings to stop, and we said very loud and clear there would be consequences, and last night there were.
Joining us now, senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang. On the timing of this, Weijia, Houthi rebels have been attacking ships in the Red Sea for months. So is there any sense of why the administration chose to carry out these strikes now?
Well, I think it was not only the U.S., but several other countries had issued warnings, warning after warning, and then, they did not heed that warning. And in fact, there was a massive attack just this week, and I think that's what prompted this retaliatory strike. And so it wasn't necessarily a surprise that this came because many nations had been sounding the alarms because this is impacting the global economy when you're talking about, supply and demand and what these vessels are carrying and the fact that they are being attacked in this way. And so I think the warning has been sounded. Now the question is what happens next? And the Houthis have already said that they plan to respond to this strike. So we just have to wait to see, Elaine, about whether there is going to be a back and forth and whether it's going to escalate even more, which is the fear of many.
We've seen some forceful reaction to this news. These strikes are prompting harsh criticism, for instance, from progressive Democrats. What are their concerns, Weijia?
You're right. They are publicly saying that this was unauthorized. They say that President Biden should have sought the approval of Congress to do this. And these are members of the president's own party. These are progressive Democratic lawmakers who believe that, they should have been informed and had a vote in this matter because they are worried that this could broaden the war even more. But we have heard from many administration officials that has been a primary concern from day one, but there wasn't going to be an instance, Elaine, where the Houthis continued these unprecedented attacks and there was no response. And so now we are monitoring this situation and hoping to hear directly from President Biden at any moment.
All right, Weijia Jiang for us at the White House. Weijia, thank you.
Sure.
Let's bring in Phil Stewart. He's a military affairs and intelligence correspondent with Reuters News. Phil, thanks very much for being with us. How important is it that these strikes in Yemen were an international effort?
I think that was a key goal for the Pentagon and for the White House. Officials that we've spoken to were trying to build international support for some kind of action over a period of time. And I was with U.S. Defense Secretary Austin in December, shortly before he disappeared from public view. And on that trip, he established a coalition whose goal was to safeguard shipping. And then after that, you saw the UN Security Council resolution, a joint statement by lots of countries. And the idea here is the U.S. didn't want to be in a war directly with Yemen. The goal was to have an international effort because in their view, it's an international problem. This is global trade.
Right. Well, I wonder if this now signals some kind of shift in U.S. strategy in the Middle East. And also, Phil, how prepared is the U.S. for the potential of a wider regional conflict?
Well, those are great questions. The U.S. and the Biden administration in particular, but even before that, was trying to focus on other challenges. They were trying to focus on China, on Russia, especially with the war in Ukraine. And so what this does is it really throws a wrench in all that planning. And what you're seeing is the U.S. now having to reprioritize the Middle East. Biden may have been done with the Middle East, but perhaps the Middle East wasn't done with him. And, there's some question about whether the Houthis may have been inviting a strike like this by ignoring warning after warning.
Well, let's turn to Saudi Arabia. Why is it significant for them to try to stay essentially on the sidelines?
Well, that's fascinating, too. The Saudis, had been fighting the Houthis for years. And so they had just tried to extricate themselves from that conflict, which the U.S. had kind of warned them against and had real problems in Congress supporting them in their fight against the Houthis in Yemen because of a lot of civilian casualty issues. So now the Saudis are on the sidelines. They're not sure if they want to re-engage with the Houthis because they want to have development on their Red Sea coast, and they don't want to be embroiled in a new war. And let's not forget that the Saudi population is not wildly in favor, to put it lightly, of Israel's war in Gaza. And so they're in a really tricky spot.
Right. Such a complex geopolitical landscape. Phil Stewart. Phil, thank you very much.
Thank you.